Okay, in part 2 of this video of solving word problems using the substitution method, I wanted you to do the couple examples on your note sheet and then check your equations here before solving. So this is going to be your check. You should have already tried these. Okay, so when I read this example, which is a sports example, I've marked some things. So I first marked that there have been 31 total Super Bowl games. So total games. So that's going to be something in my equation as a total. I've also noted that there's 2 football leagues, the American Football Conference and the National Football Conference. These are what I have decided are my 2 variables because either the AFC has to win the Super Bowl or the NFC has to win the Super Bowl. So those are my 2 variables. And then my last sentence right here, it tells me how much the NFC won. So I know that this is the beginning of one of my other equations. So let's start with my variables. I decided that the 2 football teams are my variables. So I have X representing the number of games won by the AFC and Y representing the number of games won by the NFC. And these are Super Bowl games. And then back up here where I marked the total number of games, there's been 31 Super Bowls in this year. So I did number of times the AFC won, which is X, plus the number of times the NFC won, which is Y, to give me a total of 31. And then as I said up here, this tells me the NFC won, which tells me that the Y is equal to, and it's 5 more than the other, so I did X plus 5. Now this one's ready to solve for substitution because this already says Y equals, so you should be able to solve directly by substituting this in for the Y value there. In the second example, this is another chemistry example. So just like before, we have a lab that needs 100 gallons and that solution has to be 18%. And we are going to start with a 12% acid solution and then mix it with a 20% acid solution. So I know I have 2 variables again, my amount of 12% and my amount of 20%. And then I want to know how many gallons of each solution are needed. Okay, so my variables are number of gallons of the 12% is represented by X. Number of gallons of the 20% is represented by Y. I know I have a total of 100 gallons, so X plus Y equals my total of 100. And then I'm doing my percentage ones. So 12% of the X is the acid, and then 20% of the Y is the acid in there. Will give me 18% of the acid in the 100 total. And then for this one's not quite ready to solve, so I would take this first equation and I would solve it for either X or Y, it doesn't matter. And I would say, let's go for X. X equals 100 minus Y. And then I would take that expression and substitute it in for the X here and continue solving. Now for my last example, this one is a perimeter example. Okay, so for this one, I have my total perimeter marked is 24 inches. The longest, I know something about the longest side, I know something about the shortest side, and I don't know anything really about the middle side. Okay, so, but I do know I have 3 sides, so I have 3 variables in this one. And I drew myself a picture. So here's my triangle. Short side, medium side, longest side, and you can see I labeled that right here. And then my total 24 inches, that means if I take all three sides and add them together, I will get 24 total. That is my bottom equation right here. X plus Y plus C equals 24. And then up here, the longest side, I know that's Z. He is 4 inches longer than the shorter side. So take my shorter side and add 4 is equal to Z. And then I have another one here. The shortest side is, so X is, or X equals 3/4 the length of the middle. So I take 3/4 times my middle side, which is Y. Now this is also ready to substitute. However, we have multiple substitutions. So we are going to substitute X plus 4 in for Z. And then 3/4 Y, we can substitute in for X. And then this equation, we can solve and then substitute in something else. Now, with 3 variables, you do need 3 equations. You will also have to substitute more than once. So give it a shot. You're not required to do 3 variables, just 2 variables, but 3 variables are kind of a fun challenge. Okay, and once you're finished solving, you can check your answers with my answer key and then begin working on the practice worksheet from yesterday.